We can watch some clips of the movie. I think we
Let's do it.
Can put it on the and I'll just get a setup of what kind of give you a background of what it is. So it starts with Mike Baab, the center of the Browns, on the field. He gets pretty much knocked unconscious. So right off the bat, you have like a concussion-based NFL movie. So he gets knocked out, and he ends up in this, dream sequence where he is told that he has to go on a quest to get the ring. And it's all sort of an allegory, obviously, for a Super Bowl ring. And he calls his teammates, and he gets all, blows a horn, calls his teammates, kind of like the anchor man, blowing of the horn. And they have to fight the evil lord of the league, who is played by Tiny Tim.
Do you know how that happened, by the way?
I do. That was my question going into this, was how the hell did Tiny Tim get involved in this? It was literally just one guy that knew Tiny Tim. He had some connections, and they said, well, if we can get Tiny Tim, let's throw him in here. So they put him in that role.
Tiny Tim, Michael Stanley. This is a star-studded affair.
Tiny Tim, Michael Stanley, and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, Cleveland sports were always, it was like, of course we'd lose on the last out. It's like, of course we'd lose in the last 10 seconds.
It was so hard because we needed it so badly. We needed that win so badly that it had been such a long time that it was pain. I mean, it's really painful.
It does affect your psyche. I mean, I think that coming from Cleveland is a bit of a fatalism, kind of and I'm sorry you beat me out, but a bit of a fuck it, we're never going to win attitude. And the world is against us, right? That's why I think those Ohio against the world, Cleveland against the world shirts are so psychically powerful for people from Ohio. I wear that shirt, because you do feel like the world's against you.
Not only did the drive end, the Cleveland season, but if the team had won that game and went to the Super Bowl, they had the national distribution deal in place for this movie to go countrywide. And as a result of that loss, no one ended up really seeing it. So.
Or Mike Baab.
I'm so sad to hear that part of it. They missed their.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to give Baab a cameo on something.
I think so. Yeah.
Arise, Barbarian, O great warrior. I must send you on a journey that will test all of your warrior skills.
A journey? What is this great journey you seek to send me on, O ruler of the city by the lake called Erie?
Barbarian, I beseech you to take your warrior clan in search of a great ring. A ring that is only worn by those known as the Masters of the Gridiron. The ring is now in the possession of the mysterious Lord of the League. Your quest to bring the ring to the great city will be hard and filled with many dangers. You will have to do battle with the mysterious Lord's beasts such as bears, rams, and falcons. But once you are victorious, the ring will be yours, and the city by the lake called Erie will be home to the Masters of the Gridiron.
I, ruler of our great city, I shall undertake this quest to bring back with me the ring worthy of the Masters of the Gridiron.
And so Barbarian went forth to gather his great warrior clan, the clan of Modena. And the call resounded along the shores of the great lake. It echoed through the valleys and across the hills. The warriors heard, and the warriors came forth. From the plains of Pass Russian came the huge Golikon, Kuzmong, and Hairstone, known for their ability to crush mere mortals. In the hills of Linebacker, the call was heard by the fierce and agile Clayrock and Nikolai. Setting out from the village of Receivers was the magical wizard, able to deceive many a man with quickness of foot and sleight of hand. In the town of Porter, the javelin thrower Pegaliah prepared for battle. From the mines at Offensia, Pike the Fierce, MacMollus, and Binethor gathered their arms. And from the backfields of the hamlet of Interceptor came Dixonus, feared for the viciousness and quickness of his attack. And they all came forth before Barbarian to hear of their great journey.
Hear me, warriors of the clan of Modella. We are about to begin our quest for the ring worn by the masters of the Gridiron. Let any man weak of heart be gone from us, for the journey will be a dangerous one.
Must be from the USFL.
Barbarian, we are the warrior clan of Modella, and we will go forth as one and fight to the death if we must.
Hearing it referred to as the clan of Modella is painful.
Right? Yeah.
It might be the most Cleveland thing I've ever seen. And it's self-effacing. There's a sense of humor in it, which is good. So it's very Big Chuck and Little John as well. Did this premiere on Big Chuck and Little John?
This had a full Hollywood in Cleveland premiere. Apparently they had a whole premiere night. They had the celebs of Cleveland out. People were dressed to the nines, and they had a full premiere in November of '86.
Did it show on air, do we know, anywhere in Cleveland?
So they didn't. It seemed like they didn't play the whole video on air. It was sold as a VHS, and they had little clips during Browns games. Apparently, they teased it, but it was not aired on in full. But yeah, and then that loss kind of stopped their national distribution deal. But we had heard that people apparently were lining up some stores to get a copy.
I have vague recollections of this from my youth. I know I've seen clips of this.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like it was probably just clips.
Sure, was at the games then.
How do we feel about Act 1 here with this?
I mean, it's off to a strong start.
Yeah.
Got the mythology, the world building's good, right? They gave you the map. They built the world pretty quickly.
Yeah, I love the Lord of the Rings map. Is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's good acting going on here.
Good acting, yeah?
Baab is really passionate.
Is that the notes you'd give if this was what you guys were getting at?
Look, it's tongue in cheek, right? The secret handshake thing was pretty funny. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be a lot more serious.
Yeah, that's the good thing. They take themselves. I think that's why it kind of has a full Cleveland vibe. Is that there's a seriousness, but also underpinned with as you said, the self-effacing kind of knowledge of what they're doing. They knew what they were making here.
Absurdity, yes. There's a lot of Clevelanders embrace absurdity.
I'll tell you what's not absurd is the actors are in outstanding shape.
Yeah, who was that? Dixon from The Land of Interceptus? Was that Dixon?
Yep.
I mean, he's huge.
Everyone has some nicknames that Baab made for everyone. Dixonus and Golikon and all those things. And my favorite thing is that a lot of guys use this as spring. Like Bob Golick became a actor after this. So that was this was the beginning of that. This was the genesis of that.
Look, it is the council of the Lord of the League, and there he stands.
Hi, fellas. Welcome to my nightmare.
Careful, Dixonus. He has powers beyond those of mortal men.
That was amazing.
I mean, what can you say?
Talk about the intro. Every villain needs a great introduction, and that did it.
Yeah, that's what we call a movie star intro shot.
You think as villains go, more Thanos or Baron Zemo?
Zemo. The casting is pretty brilliant. Also, I'm wondering how long they ran around in the metro parks in these costumes.
We didn't know about it.
How many days did it take?
It was a one-day shoot.
1 day shoot. Move through this pretty quickly, and they got some really good production value out of the metro parks. It's legitimate production value. You got a castle, you got some wood bridges, vaguely period.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say we never used Square's Castle for anything. We didn't shoot anything there.
What do you guys remember about Tiny Tim, and just in terms of like him as a character at that time period and as a performer?
I mean, he was a really big personality. I mean, Tiny Tim was a well-known name for 2 decades when we were growing up. So this was a casting coup for these guys, to get him to come play. So I don't know. I'm impressed. I had no idea. I didn't remember this existed. I'm impressed at the commitment, the costumes, the production value, and the casting so far. It's a winner.
And it's just to wrangle this amount of people to do something. I mean, this is not easy. I mean, it's remarkable that they got this many. I mean, how many of the players participated, do you know, versus didn't participate?
So the only one that was asked that didn't participate was Bernie, who apparently has regretted it now for 30 years. That's he's the one that they got away, but it was about 15 players in it.
Oh, great warriors, please do speak. I know you've traveled far. What is it that you seek?
We mean to have the ring of the Masters of the Gridiron.
Come forth, my fairest, and let the clan of Modella gaze at the treasure they seek.
Yes, my lord. Behold, the great ring.
Hear me now, you warrior lords. To wear this ring, you must take up your swords in combat against enemies on the field of battle. I must see the steel clash and hear the armor rattle. And when the dust has settled, weapons their misery no longer sing. Only those who have conquered on the bloody plain will wear the master's ring.
So, is that Mike Baab's wife?
No, that is someone's daughter, I believe. That mystery has eluded me, but it is not Lolise who's behind the camera. She was sort of the whole kind of brains. She was in the business a little bit.
Right.
Mike was sort of the creative mastermind, but Lolise was the one who kind of found everyone, the writer, the director, all that, and put it together.
Yeah, this is not easy.
That's the hard. That's the hard part. Wow.
This Tiny Tim performance a little bit more to see where he goes with it. He layers it at all. Actual bear.
Oh yeah.
This is a lot of work here. I mean, that Super Bowl shuffle was, this is like Oscar worthy compared to the series. The Barbarians versus Samurai is sort of smashing genres together.
Yeah. Very
I kind of want to listen to the rest of that Michael Stanley song. His voice is Pavlovian for all Clevelanders. You just hear Michael Stanley's voice and it soothes you. Pretty sure that Michael Stanley song got some airplay because it feels familiar. And only in 1986 could you take your really expensive athletes and do something like this. If you show this to a coach today, get cut from the team. But this is some real physical stunt choreography going on here. These guys are committed. I can't believe they did this in a day. They must have practiced this stuff before they went to shoot it.
Hey man, they're professionals.
This was a fast day of shooting. Yeah, there's a couple high kicks in there. I couldn't tell who it was. One of the linemen had like a groin kick or a stomach kick. That takes some flexibility.
How do we feel about the bear being added into this mid movie thrown in without explanation?
That's sort of that thing you're writing at 2 a.m. and you convince yourself you need a bear in the scene.
I think that was a little shot across the bow.
Yeah.
To Chicago there.
I love that it's just you're just having this. They're fighting the ninjas, samurais. And then just Mike Baab is just wrestling a bear.
You probably just always wanted to wrestle a bear, and he finally could.
That is exactly how it came about.
Really?
I want to know the story of where that bear came from. A trained bear, I'm assuming. I hope that drove in from some other state.
Cleveland's famous Caesar the Wrestling Bear.
Oh, that's Caesar.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, that's a blast from the past too. This is everything Cleveland is in this. It's like everything was a
It's the most Cleveland, and I feel like it's the most Cleveland with all that, and then with the fact that it ends up not getting seen by anyone because of Elway ripping everyone's heart out.
Right.
You're right. It's just couldn't be more perfect.
I think this
But I'm sad.
This needs the Criterion version, Anth.
I know. I'm actually really sad because again, the effort that was put into this is really admirable.
Director's commentary from Baab.
Had you guys heard of Caesar the Wrestling Bear before?
We had.
Now, yeah, exactly. I forgot to mention it, but it does ring a bell.
Apparently, there's like he was a known commodity. You could pay some money and wrestle Caesar in Cleveland, and they got him.
He would be at events if like the cook-off, the barbecue cook-off and things like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yet another thing you can't do anymore.
Is wrestle a bear.
Especially if you're in the middle of an NFL season.
That's right.
That's the one thing everyone keeps telling us as part of the production is how difficult, the amount of layers of agents and managers and all that you'd have to go through to even have a chance of getting one of these players on board now.
I mean, Baab must have been a real locker room personality to pull everyone together like this and get him to do it. I mean, he's got everyone out there.
Well, also there must have been a lot of the team must have been feeling really good, in order to, they must have been feeling like we're something special and we can put it out there, man.
And was this before Biner's emergence? When did he pop? Was that this season?
That was this. So that's to me is the other fascinating thing here is that the 85 Browns were not a great team. They were 9-7. And,
right.
No one was saying this is a juggernaut going into 86. Bernie was coming into his own a little bit, but, they were not that Bears the year before doing the Super Bowl shuffle. This was a team that had, moderate expectations. And yet, as you're saying, had enough confidence to film a movie about going, preseason, about getting, on the quest for a Super Bowl ring.
Well, this might have transformed the entire season.
I was gonna say it's even more remarkable to hear that exactly because it's just it really speaks to that sort of I don't know. Yeah, there must have been something going on with them because this is a really bold expression.
I'm wondering if Baab,
not just the idea of going for the ring, but just the entire endeavor.
Did Baab have a TV and a VHS player wheeled into the locker room, and they would watch this before every game? Is that how this magical 86 season happened? Yeah.
It came out in November, and then they went on after it came out. They went on like a 7-1 run to end the year into the playoffs.
Yeah, I could see him too arguing with the guys who control the video at the stadiums to make sure it was the right clips that were played at the right time.
How 80s is this though, with the montages and what is it about 80s movies that is like that this captures? There's something 80s about it that just screams the time period.
It's the song against the fight, right? Like that was a big deal back then. You would play a needle drop from start to finish and make the audience sit through the entire needle drop. And so then you'd have to like collect enough footage to fill out the 2.5, 3 minutes for the needle drop. I was gonna say, Kate, you've probably seen this movie more than any living human outside of Mike Baab because you've had to prep these clips, right?
Not as many times as Ben, because he's a personal fan.
That belongs to us. We mean to have it.
Give him the ring, my lord. It is rightly his.
Island worm, not so easily won, Barbarian. You still have one fight to finish, and it will be your last.
Tell you, Lord of the League, the ring.
Ah, yes, the ring. I suppose it does belong to you. Ring, wench.
No! Is he alive? I don't know. He's so still.
Barbarian. Arise, arise.
Wake up!
Wake up!
Get up!
Get up!
Get up!
Wake up!
Mike, wake up!
Open your eyes, Mike. Wake up, Mike. Wake up, Baab. Wake up, Mike.
I mean, that's an incredible ending.
Amazing.
Lives up to the rest of the piece.
It's an amazing ending.
Did you see how athletic Baab is? Now, here's the question. Did Mike Baab get the name Mike the Barbarian because he loved barbarians? And he probably owned a sword, and he probably practiced that move at home many times. And that might even be when he got the idea to do the movie. It's because he owned a sword and he liked playing around with it, right? Because it's a pretty good move he had. We went behind the back with it. That takes some practice. So I'm starting to get an idea of what the inception of this video may have been.
The accuracy of that prediction is so incredibly correct that it's shocking that you did not report this story like we have been doing. He was a Conan the Barbarian diehard fan, called himself the Barbarian, had a sword, always wanted to wrestle a bear, and that was sort of the genesis of all
the whole thing. But I love that his teammates, I mean, this is why they were such a great team in '86. They all rallied around him and came and dressed up like, in ridiculous costumes and supported him so that his fantasy could come true. And then they even played it at the stadium.
How about the ending though, where you get, he gets knocked out and he's, was it all a dream? But he has the ring on his finger.
Sophisticated. And then amazing. That goes right into the credits.
Yeah. I also like the kid-friendly touch of like going to the shadow on the kill is both artful and kid-friendly.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to have too much violence of a kill scene. Was the?
Yeah.
I'm curious in the sense of like when you look back at this now, that '86 season, what is that? Even though it ended in the heartbreak, it seems like that's sort of this beloved season for Browns fans. It ends in the drive, but it's still what most people consider one of their most favorite Browns teams, Browns season. So I guess watching this, I don't know, does that remind you of any of those good times, or what does that season mean to you guys as Browns fans?
It does. And I mean, I think, like I said, looking at the roster, I know everyone on it. And it's rare that there was that kind of consistency to the roster, meaning, you even know the linemen's names, right? You remember there wasn't that I don't think anyone got hurt that season, if I remember. So there's a consistency to that team. And it's just always, it's that like Cleveland spirit when out of no expectations, they delivered and almost made it to the Super Bowl. And I think you just appreciate the effort as a Clevelander. We appreciate that more than winning, which is, I'm glad we don't have like a Patriots level of success. It would ruin what is essential about Cleveland. The fact that, we almost never win. That's an important part of who we are.
I'm appreciating watching it because it does, again, it reminds you of the upside of the journey, which is like what we all love about it and what we take away from it, and it's because it is hard dealing with the losses. And, but like to get reclued into the sort of the glory of the journey, the fun of the journey, is like really, it's a very good feeling to have.